Hey, Kari. Let's jump in
Hi.
and get started right away. Can you tell me a little bit about where you were, like especially with your voice before we started working together? What were some things that you were experiencing?
So I was experiencing what I call crickets when I do my marketing posts. It was, the feedback wasn't there, and that's how I know I'm sitting in my voice is when I get that feedback. When people start resonating, they start commenting, they say things that let me know that it's hitting that sweet spot with them, and that they can recognize there's something there that I can offer them. So I was not getting that. I knew I was not quite sitting in that voice. So
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's one of the ways I describe it, is when you're in your frequency, then you've picked up the microphone so that people can hear you better. When you're in the power, then you have the microphone up to your mouth. You've been to a conference before or somewhere, somebody will get the microphone. I'm looking for like something. This a pen, my pen. They'll hold the microphone and they'll hold it like way out here. So you still can't really hear them. You know what I'm saying? But they've got it.
um,
But then
I have,
it scares
I
me like,
have. It's so great that you said that. It's so great because that's exactly like there's I'm involved in a teaching thing on Sundays, and I have been asked to use a microphone because my voice doesn't carry to the back. And it's interesting is when I pick up the microphone, something happens to me. It's like I transform, and and I can actually feel myself like moving into that voice. So that's exactly like what it is for me. It is like
oh,
yeah.
I love that you're like power, power, oh, the power. And then you put it right here. A lot of people don't feel comfortable holding the microphone so close, which makes sense because it just amplifies all the sound. People are going to pick it up. So I love that you are experiencing that where you like pick up the microphone and you're like, I can do this. I feel
Yeah.
so good. I love that. What made you realize that you wanted to change or that something needed to change? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, it's aligned with what I feel my purpose is, and that is that I am here to speak my truth and give people aha moments.
Yes,
Well, that
girl.
that ain't gonna happen if they can't hear what I'm saying, right? So kind of important that I sit in my voice and I speak with that voice, right?
Yes, just a little bit.
Yes.
If you want to make that impact. So it sounds like what you're saying is you got to the point where you're like, wait, in order to do what I need to do, I got to do this. And
I gotta do this. Yes. Yep.
yes, and
There's
I,
no,
what was that?
there's just no other way. I mean,
There's,
that's yeah.
yeah.
You do what you have to do to get to where you need to be, right? So
Oh my gosh, I just really love that you said that so much because I think we experience the resistance of whatever it is that we are in every area of our life, right? When we are like and wanting to change or we're wanting to get to the next level or something's going on. The resistance has always been there. But it's like it now we can see it or we've taken our blinders off to it and we're like, and we kind of feel I don't know if you feel this way, but I kind of feel like the push behind me to like get going and I'm just like I can't help myself. Like I have to take that next step. I have to move. I have to change. I have to address this thing that's been in my way for I know a while, but I might just like have been kicking the pebble of it and now it feels like a big boulder. It's time to address it. Is that how you kind of experienced it?
yeah, I can tell when I start getting to that kind of a level of frustration
Mm,
because I can feel the push.
yeah.
And so that's my sign that I'm getting out of alignment, right? So when the frustration starts happening and it's this thing that I'm not quite getting over or through or around or however it is, um, that I start seeking for what I need next. Like, because I know that that's not where I'm supposed to stay. That's
Right.
not. And so I was looking for opportunities, and that's when I kept coming back to you. I'd seen your posts and I'd seen some of the things that you'd done. I think I joined your group, but started kind of recognizing what you had to offer. And I had some other opportunities as well, but I knew that this was the next step for me. So,
Really, I value it so much and I respect so much, um, not just people choosing me, but people saying this is what's right out of all of the options, like being in alignment with our path and the mentor that is right with for us at that time. There's nothing more powerful than that, in my opinion. It's just like,
right, right. And I appreciated the fact that I recognized that there were these other options, and that
mhm.
I was finally in a space where I could use that inner authority to go, this is the direction. Like, this is where I'm going next.
So
Yes.
so when you got the this is the direction, this is where I'm going next, was there anything you were like nervous about? Like working with me? Or you were like, I don't know, this is kind of like like
I was excited to work with you. I mean, I know you're a vocalist. And I love to sing, and I've singing in my past. It's not something I've done in a concentrated effort in many, many, many years. Um, so I was actually nervous to sing for you, but that was something that was really eye-opening. And I valued that you could actually hear things in my voice that that brought brought focus to the sessions, right? And where what needed to be addressed and where it was, and the fact that you can hear the planets and all the things. Like, I love that because I understand a little bit about music and what that entails on your part, and the gift that that is from you to me. And so that was really exciting, actually, to watch all that work.
I love how you were like, okay, I was a little bit nervous, but then it like was exciting. That makes me so happy because I think 99.9% of the people answer that question with the singing.
Yeah. And I'm not saying it was easy to hear what you heard in my voice, because then you're like, oh, no, but at the same time, I was ready to receive that and go, okay, now we know. And
Yeah,
that makes perfect sense.
yeah,
And thank goodness, because it can be addressed.
yeah.
And that's the exciting part. It's like, I'm gonna come out of
Yes.
this in a different place, in a better place, right?
Oh, I just love how you're like, okay, that's what makes it exciting, is because now you know and you have the clarity and now and then you're like, okay, and now I know exactly what's going on. And so now we can have clarity on what the next steps are going to be instead of like fumbling around in the dark, being like, I'm doing everything right. Why is this still not happening? You have clarity on exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
el- Eliminated the frustration, brought a lot of satisfaction. So,
I just love that. Eliminated the frustration, brought a lot of satisfaction. Because I think oftentimes, especially with our voices, especially with communication, there can be a lot of frustration.
oh yeah, there can be. And this is why I knew, because I also understand my gifts of communication. I understand that I have I have those gifts. I have the ability to talk one-on-one with people, and that's how I would get most of my clients, is I would arrange one-on-one meetings, but that limits your reach. And but I knew that if I talked to people, they would know immediately that whether or not to work with me, right? I knew that that was part of my gift. So that needed to be translated into my ability to write it, and and put it on social media in a way that was in alignment with my voice, because speaking it I had pretty much down, but
Right.
translating that into other areas was where I was stuck. And I found through the process that I was able to finally get to a point where I was putting out regular posts and people were not just liking them, but they were responding to them, by sharing them and making comments and telling me how much that meant to them or how much they really resonated with it. And that was really exciting to see. So, yeah. Holla!
I always forget I say that until people say it back to me. Holla! There really isn't anything better than seeing like this is where I was, this is what was frustrating, this was where like my hiccup, and then to see it just like clockwork and just like boom, 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 and feeling in that groove. And can I just say too, there's nothing better than feeling in that groove for a Capricorn moon because
Exactly.
the Capricorn moon, you just like really want that groove. You want that flow because your voice is designed for that. It's designed for success and to have people sharing and to have people not just liking because you're saying what I hear you saying from that is like it's creating engagement, it's creating connection. When people are commenting back or they're sharing it, it's like, oh, I touched their heart. And it wasn't just about putting the content out, it was about connecting with people and creating an impact.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And girl, that is super what you are meant to do and so exciting. It makes me so excited that you experienced that. What is one of the things that you saw coming out of having worked together that was maybe something that you didn't expect to have happen? Like what other area of your life do you feel like it impacted?
Definitely my relationship with my husband. Um, it it was man, there was a lot. We moved a lot, we shifted a lot. And I know it's because of all of this work that I was doing with my voice. Because obviously communication between partners is one of the biggest stumbling blocks in most relationships. And so the ability then to have that flow between my husband and I improve was was amazing. And I think that's just invaluable. I mean, because that's my primary relationship right now in my life. I don't have children at home anymore, and like he's my person. So yeah, that that's amazing to know that that's been strengthened for us. So
It feels um it feels tender and it feels powerful, to have your because like I love how you said he's your person.
yeah,
He's your person because you don't have kids at home, so this is really like your biggest interaction at home and how as I've really seen working with people that the more we can strengthen what we have at home and the relationships with the people that we have at home, the more it strengthens our voice outside of our business. Our,
absolutely. Yeah,
our
yeah. And I felt like as I moved into my voice, I also recognized more in our relationship where he actually was like acknowledging me or hearing me or seeing me. And those are things he's probably been doing all along, but I had to move out of my own way to start to see it more regularly. So
Yes! Oh my
yeah,
gosh, that makes me so happy. I love that so much. And yes, 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 because that usually is happening. It's usually happening in so many areas of our life. But because we're trained, our minds, we've trained our mind to see this thing, then
yeah,
we don't see it. And so when we're like, okay, I'm willing to experience this shift, I'm willing to see this thing in a new light, we're like, wait a second, how long has this been happening? It feels so much better, and then it happens at an even bigger, I don't know, volume and it feels like velocity. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Velocity.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, when you're flowing, you know how a river is. Any change in the incline is going to change the speed of the flow, but it does. It feels like that velocity finally like picks up, and you're really moving now, and I love it.
It was this, we went to Costa Rica earlier this year, and my husband earned the trip through work. He was the top 1% of his company, and so we
Nice.
went out there and we purchased an excursion through the resort, and one of them was like this slide. So I'm thinking like water slide, right? Like what do Americans usually picture when you picture a water slide? You picture like this big plastic tube above the ground. And we get there, and he's like, we're gonna have to hike up. And I'm thinking, yeah, that makes sense because it's got to be off the ground. So we're gonna take stairs. No, no. The water slide was on the ground, and it wasn't a steep climb at all. And I'm thinking, how are we gonna, I don't understand. So they had what happens is you climb in the water slide, and there's a like a lever, like, you know, just this big metal piece, right? And so they have the metal piece down, and all the water is building up, and
Oh my gosh.
you get to decide how fast you want to go down. You can do I can't even remember what they called it, but the our guide was like, it was like basically like medium fast or hyper fast, and our guide for the day was like, I do not recommend doing hyper fast, 'cause it just like all the water builds up, you know? So as you're sharing this and like the velocity, all I'm just seeing is this lever, and I'm watching all the people go. And there were some people that chose hyper fast, and I'm just like watching all the water build on the other side of this metal lever, you know, type thing. And then they yank it up, and all the water hits you, and then you're just like zooming down this slide that does not have a decline, very much of a decline. So,
Oh
but
my God.
I love that. I love that because you don't, I love this for a couple of reasons. You don't have to experience a decline in order to experience the speed.
Nice. That's an interesting perspective that I hadn't considered before. So yeah, I see that. Absolutely. Yeah. You can have the velocity. It's more like just putting the pedal down, as you're traveling, and just
Yes.
when you step into that power, you're just stepping on the pedal, right? And it gives
Yes.
velocity.
Oh my gosh, yes. I love that so much. That's so beautiful when you just step on the pedal, and then you get more. And you
Yeah.
can step off when you're like, okay, that might a little bit too much, or maybe the microphone's a little bit too close to your mouth. And all you can hear. Do you know what I'm saying? Is
Yeah.
you're just
Yeah.
getting mumbles, and but it's just so beautiful, and it creates more power in other areas of your life because you're experiencing being acknowledged in your home, and so it becomes easier to experience being acknowledged online.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
So if someone was like, I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence working with Seidel, um, can you give me your opinion? What would you say?
I would say go for it. I would say like it's it's this beautiful, insightful experience that I feel enriched my life in so many ways and brought me confidence that I was missing.
Mm.
And as I was able to access that through the things that we worked on, and the gift that you have, like I just remember feeling like the power of your connection and ability to identify where the shifts needed to happen, and then watching that happen throughout the week. um like there's there's no, in my mind, there's no reason to be afraid of that kind of an interaction. It's just a blessing. Like that's what it is. So
That's so beautiful. That makes me want to cry, especially when we think about how scary it can be to do the singing and how vulnerable the voice can be because it is the throat chakra is the expressor for all of the chakras. You know, our sound holds the sound for our whole soul, our body, our heart, our mind, our spirit. So all the things just get expressed through our sound. And so it can be, not even can be, it is very vulnerable. It's very vulnerable to speak. And
yes,
it's very vulnerable to be to sing and to have that fear ahead of time or the nervousness and have it transform into this excitement um and power, and it doesn't, it's not a scary thing, it's a nurturing thing, you know, is what.
very nurturing. I mean, I felt completely safe and very nurtured and very loved and very seen and very, like, I felt like I could be vulnerable because what I experienced with you was a safe place and a nurturing place, and I felt nothing but love from you.
Which makes me
So
so happy because that is my greatest desire when I'm working with people, is that they feel so loved. And I just want to say you're amazing. Like the transformation, the work that you put in on a consistent basis, I was just like constantly in awe at the transformations that were happening in your life, at the things that you were getting to experience because you were really putting in the work. You're like you're like superpower. You're like, I want super speed, please. Super speed this week. And super speed this week. And
yeah,
it looked.
we did double time it, didn't we? But it's like,
You just like really, you were like, eh, you were true to your Capricorn moon. You were like, we are gonna have, I am gonna experience success. And in order to do that, I'm putting these lanes up and I'm really following through with your guides. And that was so beautiful. You listen, because you know, we can do a session together and I can share things and then you can go about your time and be like, yeah, 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 you know, but you didn't do that. You totally put in the hard work and hats off to you, girl, because you rocked it.
thank you. I received it.
So I want you to share with everybody what it is that you do and how they can reach out to you because I just think that they should totally contact you.
So I'm an intuitive master, and I work directly with the Akashic records and what I call soul retrieval. So I do a lot of healing of people's spirits, the parts of them that have been cut off or taken. It's basically reclaiming their power, um, and clearing up um, things on a legal level that have kept them from progressing. So I help them get over the hardest parts of their, where they keep feeling like they're just hitting a wall. Like that's where I will help clear that wall so that they can keep moving forward and and step into their essence and their power. It's a beautiful and blessed work. I'm absolutely honored to be able to do it and to help people find that space that has been inaccessible to them for whatever reason. So
I love that. Akashic work is so incredibly powerful. It is like I feel like I don't even have accurate words to describe what happens. It all I keep thinking is like I'm in Costa Rica on the slide with the superpower water, you know, like that's how it feels. But it's not scary, it's fun. You know, because it
it
just
is.
creates so much movement. It creates so much movement in your life.
Exactly, exactly. And it is sort of like what you're describing actually, because once we clear those blocks, it is letting that metal that metal piece out. And and then you flow, like you go, it's and it is powerful. I mean, it is of course based on the idea that eternal, we are eternal, and there's a record of our existence. And so many things have happened, many agreements have been made, many things, relationships have been formed, and they all are affecting us
Yeah.
now. And so to be able to go in and to create a little more order so that the flow is better in a person's life is really amazing.
Can I just say this? So I love so much that you said that you're creating order so that they can have more flow. That is exactly what a Capricorn sound does.
I don't even know where that came from. It just came out of
It's beautiful. Like literally the sound of your voice helps you create this in other people's lives, and and it's so beautiful. It's so powerful. I think I was gonna say I think often, but I think a majority of the time we have no idea. We have no idea what we don't know, and we have so many beliefs. We have so many agreements that were created before we came. We have agreements that we created, when we were young that we don't even remember. And so to be able to clear those up so that we can live in a better order and better flow is just like
yeah.
holla. How can people find you?
So I am on Facebook, Carrie Vest England. I have a website, carrievestengland.com. And I do have a Facebook page as well, and Instagram, and all of it is Carrie Vest England. So if you want to type that in, you should find me. So
Excellent. And I will have a link. I have a link below for them to find you as well. I hope you do. Go check her out because I just love you, Carrie. And it has been a pleasure and an honor and just so much fun to work with you. So thank you.
well, thank you, Seidel. The honor was mine.
Okay. Till next time.